Hello everybody, here we have book 9 in the Dresden Files, White Knight by Jim Butcher. I have a couple of complaints that have cropped up a little bit in other books and certainly were rather glaring in this one. The first one, there's these times when Harry is sitting down with someone and they're like, here's what we need to do. We're going to talk to this person, make them react to this person, and that person can react to this, and then they're going to have a vengeance against this person, then they're probably going to fight this person, then we're going to swoop in and do this and make this person do that, and blah, 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 blah. And this really predictable, this prediction of behavior that is so convoluted, I have to go back and try to read it again. And really, I just wind up going, okay, who's he going to blast with his power and then befriend here and make an enemy here is usually what it winds up being. The other thing is that during there's been a few times where there's a big battle that has to take place. And in this case, it was just so drawn out. This was 490 something, 95 pages, I think. And I think he could have easily cut 50 pages out of the book. Because what happens is Harry's there in the midst of battle and he gets attacked, and an entire page describes 1 second of time filled with his introspection about, oh, why I feel this way about this thing and what's happening, and why not? You can cut that down, have your battle, and talk about it and think about it afterwards, because during a battle, doing all of that just makes the thing so long. I'm flipping through going, how much more do I have to go before I get to the climax of this thing? It's getting... But I do like the book. I've liked every book. Just two big complaints that were standing out in this one. The primary thing here is that you have... Well, it starts with someone provoking others to start killing witches in order to cause a power struggle among a house of vampires. That's what happens, and Harry goes in to investigate who's doing what to whom and why. Along the way, so in the beginning, in the first 2 or 3 books, I think it was, though Harry is a competent individual, he has to because he wields magic and he fights supernatural monsters, he was getting a little walked over by quite a few people. And then, sure enough, he starts setting boundaries and standing up to people and giving them his attitude when they give it to him first. And then what happens is Harry starts getting a little monstrous and abrasive. And so it was easy to see because Harry has a writer. This is a fallen angel. He went to grab a coin that housed the essence of this fallen angel, and he was trying to protect someone from it. So he got rid of it really quick and buried it, but a little smidgen of it got in him, got in his mind, got in his soul. And she is a seductress. She is a liar and a web weaver. And since she's been on board, Harry's been getting a little rougher. For example, in this book, he describes a scene that happened before this book and after the last one. And they're out in the desert training some new wizards to wage this war against vampires. Vampires like to use these ghouls as cannon fodder. Go do this for us. And they attack, and some kids are killed in a pretty grotesque manner. Harry loses it. He goes to 2 ghoul prisoners. He takes one. He splits open the earth, puts the ghoul in there, seals it up, turns it in the glass around him, takes some orange juice and spatters it on his face, and makes a trail of orange juice out to these ants that, of course, are now going to use that to go and eat this thing's face off. He then goes to the other and starts kicking it and beating it, and then ultimately just executes it. And standing around him are other wizards and these kids that he was helping training, like, oh, whoa. Another scene, because he has an apprentice now, Molly, who is the daughter of a friend of his who has gone on missions with him. And he gets rather abrasive and stern with her, but in his mind, it's for her own good because she could very easily lose her life. She's not ready for the big game. However, he goes to teach her a lesson, and he gets very frustrated with her. She keeps showing up when he tells her just to stay out of it. And his partner, Karen Murphy, is like, look, dude, you didn't have to get that stern with her. I mean, you really got particularly angry. You damaged some property in a little hissy fit. And so he figures it must be Lucille, this fallen angel. And he has a scene with her. And these have been my favorite scenes in these last few books with Lucille. And in this she explains, well, you know, I've been talking to you while you sleep. Almost as a separate character is presented that way. Harry talks to his subconscious. He can go in and it's a separate dude in his mind. And if Harry's not Luke Skywalker, but that's the closest parallel I can make. If his consciousness is Luke Skywalker, his unconsciousness is more like is Han Solo. Got a little swagger, a different form of confidence. People make a joke about him getting together with Murphy. Well, his subconscious, if it was in control, probably would get together with Murphy. So that's who Lucille has been talking to while he sleeps. And he decides, I can flip the coin there. Because if you've been talking to my subconscious, which is still really me, it's probably been talking back. And instead of you trying to constantly seduce me into evil, maybe you can realize that you can have free will separate from the greater piece of you. You're a separate being now, and you should take that into account. And she, oh, what? Wait, no. She's actually very helpful to him because she is riding along. She wants him to live. So she does, he's already been using her to do things like, oh, here's some vampires speaking in ancient Etruscan. So she translates and he can talk to them that way. So she, unfortunately, she goes to shield him from a psychic attack using her own free will. She makes a change. But where'd she go? She might be out of his mind. She might be gone. He did hear a little whisper near the end, and maybe she's still there or just a residue. I don't know. I enjoyed the character and his dynamic with her, so I hope that's not the end. But if it is, it is. What are you going to do? In this, there is, he changes some partners here throughout the book. So we get Karen Murphy, goes out with her. I mean on missions. Molly, he has to deal with a little bit. This other wizard called Rodriguez, who's on the council, who he's recently befriended, who I think is going to be a traitor because the wizard council information they've been discussing has been getting out to their enemies, the vampires, and so they have a traitor inside, and I just think it's going to be him, especially because he gets even more friendly with them, and they talk about this by the end of this. I think it's going to be him. Also, he has this, it was his first love, and Harry used to have a mentor in the ways of wizardry, and she was there too. So they were the same age, they got together, and upon him killing this master who was trying to, he thought he was trying to kill him, but he was really just trying to take mental control of him, but he wound up having to kill him in self-defense. So she shows up, and she's been having some appearances, and has this really neat scene that I actually like. Now, I complained about a long battle scene. He has to make some mental contact with her. He has to call her, but she may be too far away, and he doesn't really ever do this that much. And so he goes into this long introspection about his experiences with her. Usually when he casts a spell, he does some kind of ritual. He has to set something up. He has to draw in power, or he's already drawn it and he can instantly cast a spell. To cast this particular spell to contact her mentally, he has to go through his history with her and how he feels about her and what her experiences was and what her trauma was and what his trauma was. And he's able to make this contact. There's a really good scene about the two of them and what they've been through that I really liked. We have Thomas, his half-brother, who's a psychic form of sexual vampire. And he's been up to something. At first, he's actually suspected of being one killing these witches off. But he's been up to something. He's been on his own, had some job he wouldn't tell Harry about. And turns out Harry tracks him down, and he's a hairdresser. And that's how he gets this little psychic feeding. He just, as he puts it, all these women, he's playing with their hair, so he just takes little psychic sips, and they keep coming back as returning customers because it makes them feel good. Marcone, the kingpin of crime in this. Harry says, I'm going to make you a deal, but you've got to be part of the rescue effort for this big battle that takes place. And what Marcone gets is there is a council of wizards, there is a council of fairies, there is a council of vampires. And so he gets to be sort of, there's an agreement among them called the Accords, and he lets Marcone in on these accords. So now he's a bigger player. He's not just a crime boss. He's dealing with the supernatural world now. I don't know what he's going to do besides bring a lot of people and guns. He did have one wizardess in his employ, and she's not in this book at all, so I don't know what he's going to do there, if he's going to get more supernatural abilities with others under his employ, and how he's going to keep them under control with just, you know, guns and bribery. I don't know what's going to happen there, but it'll be fun to watch. These are good books so far. I don't think I'm forgetting anything. Oh, so his half-brother has passed a rumor around that Harry had to kind of do it himself at first. He was trying to avoid his security guards because he had gotten into his half-brother's apartment. He's looking around. And so he started to play the part of a jilted gay lover. Well, Thomas kind of got wind of this and actually uses it as a story when Harry shows up, and so now everybody thinks they're together. I don't think I forgot anything. Be careful in dealing with monsters lest you become one. Seemed to be a theme in this one. So that really, I think that's about it. I just went ahead and picked up Small Favor, book 10. So there's this and 5 more. So I got 6 more books, and I'll be all caught up with the main novels plus the 2 anthologies, which I'm not sure about yet. So Wizard Harry Dresden's life finally seems to be calming down. The White Council's war with the vampiric Red Court is easing up, which is basically how that winds up. No one's tried to kill him lately, and an eager apprentice is starting to learn real magic. So Molly's gonna maybe get more powerful here. I don't know what the average amount of time is between books, between White Knight and the last one. It was approximately a year, and that keeps happening among these books. So we'll see how much time goes by here, and maybe Molly will be capable of a bit more. For once, the future looks fairly bright, but the past casts one hell of a long shadow. Mab, monarch of the winter court of the city, the fairies, calls in an old favor from Harry, just one small favor he can't refuse, one that will trap Harry Dresden between a nightmarish foe and an equally deadly ally and strain his skills and loyalties to their very limits. And everything was going so well for once. I'm assuming that's going to have something to do with the court of the Wizard Council, because the leaders of the Wizard Council do not. Matter of fact, one character says outright, the Merlin, the title, the Merlin, the head guy of the Wizard Council, hates Harry. He'd be the obvious choice for a traitor, but I don't think that's who it's going to be. That's it on the book 10 then. See you next time. Video later this week. Bye-bye now. Have a lovely one.